Anglesey Blue by Dylan H. Jones. Narrated by Malk Williams. Prelude. They meant to kill him. He understood that now. There would be no time to process this thought or plead for his life. Decisions had been made, plans were to be executed, and loose ends disposed of. It was the natural order of things, as inevitable as the slow rise of the sun, which had chosen this moment to cast its ghostly radiance over the late October dawn. The captain, speaking from behind the chamber of his pistol, addressed the crewman in a deliberate manner, as if speech itself might absolve him of the act he was about to commit. "No witnesses," he said, pinching back the trigger. Fear clotted in the crewman's mouth like a dry cloth. The remaining seconds unspooled before him, as if in slow motion. The captain's eyes narrowing into a cruel, merciless squint, the unlit cigarette falling to the deck, the crush of the captain's heel over the thin wrapping of tobacco, the inevitable crack of a firing pin, shattering the morning's brittle silence. The bullet shattered the crewman's shoulder, narrowly missing the vital web of arteries and veins. To his left, he heard the grind of machinery slipping from its gears. The sharp corner of a metal lobster basket struck his temple, whirling his senses into a blur of indiscriminate shapes and colours. Stumbling, he reached for a lifeline, finding only dead air to cling to. As he descended, through the dark mass of sea-water, he felt a swell of adrenaline surge through his veins. If he were a religious man, he would have thanked God for this thin sliver of mercy, but his faith was in practicalities and facts, not miracles and fairy tales. This was merely his body's primal need for survival, pushing upwards towards the shallow filter of sunlight. He broke the surface and gulped at the oxygen-rich air. Pain gnawed at his shoulder and temple as the salt water seeped into the open wounds. If nothing else, it was a sign he was alive, and if he was alive, there had to be hope. As he pulled the surrounding landscape into focus, he scanned the horizon for any familiar landmarks. But this was no place he recognized, at least not in this light. He'd always considered himself a strong swimmer, but already his muscles were struggling. How long could he survive out here? Hours? Maybe less. Ahead of him, the grind of the boat's engine spat a final insult of salt water before fading into the thick swell of fog. He was alone.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?